What if the life you are living today is being shaped little by little by the thoughts you have been thinking in silence, not all at once, not in some loud or dramatic way, but softly, gently, almost like water shaping stone over time? A thought repeated enough times becomes a feeling held long enough becomes a mood carried every day becomes the tone of a life, and that is why this moment matters so much, because the thoughts you choose today are not just passing through your mind for a second and disappearing into nothing. They are leaving a mark. They are teaching your heart what to expect. They are showing your body whether to relax or to stay tight. They are quietly telling your life what kind of energy you are ready to live in. Take a slow breath now and let yourself settle into this truth. You do not need to force anything while listening to these words. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to figure out your whole life in one moment. You only need to be here, right now, open enough to notice what is happening inside your own mind, because that is where change begins. It does not begin in the outside world first. It does not begin when everything around you suddenly becomes easy. It begins in the quiet place within you where a single new thought can open a new door, a kinder thought, a softer thought, a more loving thought that is often all it takes to begin shifting the direction of your inner world. So many people move through life without noticing what they have been saying to themselves every day. The words become automatic. The patterns become familiar. The feelings become normal. A person may wake up and immediately think, life is hard. Nothing works out for me. I am behind. I am not enough. I have to struggle to be safe. And because these thoughts have been repeated again and again, they do not even feel like thoughts anymore. They feel like facts. They feel like reality. But a thought, no matter how often it has been repeated, is still a thought, and what has been learned can be changed. What has been practiced can be replaced. What has been spoken with fear can begin to be spoken with love. This is such a tender truth, and it matters deeply. The mind is always listening to what you say. The body is always listening to what the mind believes. Life is always responding to the energy you carry. If the thoughts inside you are harsh, rushed, fearful, and heavy, then your whole inner world begins to carry that same weight. But if your thoughts begin to soften, even just a little, then something beautiful starts to happen. Your breathing changes, your shoulders relax, your heart opens, your choices become kinder, your energy becomes lighter, and you start to notice that life feels different when you speak to yourself with love. There is great power in understanding that your thoughts are not just private noise. They are creative. They are active. They are shaping the way you see yourself, the way you see others, and the way you receive life. Every loving thought is like opening a window in a room that has been closed for too long. Fresh air enters, light enters, space enters, and perhaps the room was always full of possibility, but you could not feel it while everything was shut tight. In the same way, when your mind is closed with fear, blame, or hopelessness, You cannot easily feel the goodness that may already be near you. But when your mind begins to open, life can reach you in a new way. This is not about pretending that there is no pain. It is not about denying difficulty or acting as if every moment is easy. It is not about forcing fake positivity on a hurting heart. It is something much more honest and much more healing than that. It is about becoming aware of the tone you carry within yourself and choosing, with compassion, to move toward thoughts that support life instead of thoughts that drain it. It is about asking, very gently, is the way I have been thinking helping me heal, or is it keeping me in pain? Is the voice in my mind building me up or pulling me down? Is it opening my heart or closing it? Sometimes people think that loving thoughts are weak, soft, or unrealistic, but loving thoughts are not weak. They are deeply powerful. A loving thought can stop a spiral of fear. A loving thought can calm the body in the middle of stress. A loving thought can create room where there used to be pressure. A loving thought can give a person enough peace to make a wiser choice. A loving thought can break an old chain that has been held for years. And because of this, the simple act of choosing a kinder thought is never small. It may look small from the outside, but within you, it changes the direction of everything. Imagine how different life begins to feel when your inner voice says, I am safe in this moment. I am learning. I am allowed to grow slowly. I do not have to attack myself to improve. I can choose peace right here. These are not empty words when spoken with care. They are a new path. They are a new pattern. They are a new way of meeting life. And each time you return to them, they become more natural. They begin to feel less like something strange and more like something true. The mind learns from repetition. The heart opens through repetition. Peace grows through repetition. Love becomes believable through repetition. You may not have realized how deeply your thoughts have been shaping your days. The way you think when you wake up shapes the energy of your morning. The way you think when something goes wrong shapes the energy of your response. The way you think about yourself shapes the way you allow others to treat you. The way you think about the future shapes whether you move toward it with trust or with fear. Thought by thought, moment by moment, you are creating an inner atmosphere, and from that atmosphere you live. If the atmosphere within you is full of criticism, pressure, and dread, then even good moments can be hard to receive. Even love can feel suspicious. Even rest can feel uncomfortable. Even peace can feel unfamiliar. But if the atmosphere within you begins to hold more trust, more patience, more kindness, then life feels different. You begin to notice beauty more easily. You begin to hear your own needs more clearly. You begin to stop fighting yourself. And when you stop fighting yourself, you often stop fighting life in the same way. There are many people who have spent years speaking against themselves without even knowing it. They say things like, I always mess things up. I will never change. Nothing good lasts. No one truly cares. I have to do everything alone. I am too much. I am not enough. These sentences may seem small because they are common. They may even sound normal because they have been repeated so often, but each one carries energy. Each one teaches the mind something. Each one leaves an imprint. And if these are the thoughts that have been watering the inner garden, then it is no surprise if fear and exhaustion have been growing there. But the beautiful thing is this: the garden can be tended in a new way. The old weeds do not have to be hated. They only have to be noticed. They only have to stop being fed. And in their place, something new can be planted. A thought like, I am worthy of peace. A thought like, life can support me in ways I do not yet see. A thought like, I choose to speak to myself with care. A thought like, I do not have to carry every burden with fear. These thoughts are seeds too. And what is planted with love and repeated with love begins to grow in love. Let these words reach you slowly. There is no rush. The mind has often been trained for years into fear, doubt, and self-judgment. It is all right if loving thoughts do not feel natural yet. It is all right if trust feels unfamiliar. It is all right if peace still feels far away. None of that means you are failing. It only means you are learning a new way. And learning a new way always begins gently. A child does not learn to walk by being punished for falling. A heart does not learn peace by being shamed for fear. Healing grows where there is patience. So right here, let yourself become still enough to notice what your mind has been practicing, not with blame, not with guilt, only with honesty. What tone have you been living in? What words have been circling inside you? What beliefs have been repeated so often that they now feel like truth? And once you notice them, ask yourself another question. Do I want to keep building my life from these thoughts? Or am I ready to begin choosing thoughts that sound more like love? This moment is very important because awareness is where freedom begins. You cannot change what you refuse to see, but the second you notice a pattern, you are no longer fully trapped inside it. The second you hear the old voice and say, I know that voice, you create space. The second you catch yourself saying, nothing ever works for me, and gently replace it with, I am open to life supporting me, something shifts. It may be small at first, but small shifts matter. A ship changes direction by moving only a little at the start, and yet over time it reaches a completely different shore. That is how the mind works too. One loving thought may not seem like much, but one loving thought repeated daily begins to change your feelings. Changed feelings begin to change your choices. Changed choices begin to change your experience. And changed experience begins to shape a new life. Not because life became perfect overnight, but because your inner world stopped working against you. It began to work with you. It began to support your healing. It began to move in the same direction as the peace you were calling in. Many people are waiting for the world to become kinder before they allow themselves to feel calm. They are waiting for the perfect relationship, the perfect answer, the perfect amount of money, the perfect future. Then they think, I will relax. Then I will feel safe. Then I will believe good things are possible. But peace that depends on perfect conditions is a fragile peace. It disappears the moment life becomes uncertain again. The deeper peace comes from choosing thoughts that steady you even while life is still unfolding. It comes from saying, I can be gentle with myself in the middle of the unknown. I can choose loving thoughts before the evidence appears. I can build my life from the inside out. And what a beautiful thing that is, to know that your power does not live only in circumstances. Your power lives in what you choose to practice in your mind. It lives in the words you allow to stay. It lives in the beliefs you agree to keep feeding. It lives in the attention you give to fear or to love. Every day, with every thought, you are saying yes to something. You are saying yes to despair or yes to hope, yes to harshness or yes to compassion, yes to struggle as identity or yes to peace as possibility. Just sit with that for a moment. You are not as powerless as you have sometimes been taught to believe. You may not be able to control every event. You may not be able to force every outcome, but you can choose the way you meet your own life inside yourself. You can choose whether your inner world becomes a place of attack or a place of care. You can choose whether your thoughts repeat the old pain or begin to speak a new truth. That choice, practiced again and again, becomes a path, and that path can gently shape the whole direction of your life. Most people do not understand how much is being created by the thoughts they quietly repeat every day. They think a thought is just a thought, a small thing, a passing thing, something with no real weight. But that is not how life works. A thought may seem invisible, but it is not powerless. A thought changes the feeling in your body. A thought changes the mood in your room. A thought changes the way you look at another person. A thought changes whether you move toward a chance or pull away from it. A thought changes whether you expect kindness or prepare for hurt. And because thoughts do all of this, they are creating far more than most people ever notice. Think of how quickly one fearful thought can affect the whole body. The moment the mind says something bad is going to happen, the chest tightens, the stomach turns, the breath shortens, the shoulders rise, the heart begins to race. Nothing outside may have changed yet, but inside, everything has shifted. The body has listened. The nervous system has listened. Your energy has listened. One thought created a full inner experience. Now think of the opposite. The mind says, I am safe right now. I can handle this one step at a time. I choose peace in this moment. And suddenly, the body begins to soften. The breath deepens. The face relaxes. The mind clears. One thought changed the whole inner atmosphere. That is why it matters so much to pay attention to what is being spoken within. Thoughts are not only words in the mind, they are instructions, they are signals, they are messages sent into every part of your being. And if the same message is repeated again and again, the whole system begins to organize around it. If the message is, I am not safe, then life begins to be lived through fear. If the message is, I am not worthy, then love begins to feel hard to receive. If the message is, I always lose, then even opportunity may be met with doubt. But if the message becomes, Life can support me. I am worthy of peace. I choose loving thoughts. Then something new begins to organize inside you. This is not only emotional, it is practical. The thoughts you think shape the energy you carry, and the energy you carry shapes the way you move through the world. A person who is always thinking people cannot be trusted will speak differently, look differently, protect differently, and react differently than a person who is thinking, I choose to meet life with an open heart and wise awareness. A person who wakes each day thinking nothing ever changes will often move with less hope, less effort, less openness than a person who thinks healing can happen slowly and I am willing to grow. Thought becomes feeling. Feeling becomes posture. Posture becomes action. Action becomes pattern. Pattern becomes life. This is why two people can stand in the same room, in the same day, facing the same kind of challenge and experience it in completely different ways. One mind says, this is too much. I cannot do this. Life is against me. The other mind says, this is hard, but I can meet it with calm, and life may still be guiding me. The event may be the same, but the inner experience is not. The thoughts change everything. They change what is noticed. They change what is believed. They change what is possible. They change what is allowed to grow. There is a quiet kind of creation happening all the time through thought. The world outside may not shift in one instant, but your relationship with life shifts immediately through the meaning your mind gives to things. When something does not go as planned, your mind can say, this proves nothing works out, or it can say, perhaps something better is unfolding. When you make a mistake, your mind can say, I always fail, or it can say, I am learning. When someone leaves, your mind can say, I am unlovable, or it can say, what is meant for me will stay in the right way. The event is real, but the thought you place around it shapes the wound or the healing. Many people are living inside thoughts they never consciously chose. They inherited them. They absorbed them. They learned them from fear, from pain, from criticism, from old memories. They may have heard growing up that life is hard, money is never enough, people always leave, love has to be earned, rest is laziness, worth must be proven. And because these ideas were heard again and again, the mind accepted them as normal. The person grows up and does not even realize that these are not eternal truths. They are learned patterns. They are repeated thoughts. And what has been learned through repetition can also be changed through repetition. The reason this matters is because thoughts do not stay neatly inside the mind. They spill into everything. They spill into relationships. They spill into health. They spill into how you speak, how you listen, how you rest, how you work, how you dream, how you receive. If you think you are a burden, you may stop asking for help. If you think love always leaves, you may close your heart before anyone gets close. If you think abundance is for other people, you may refuse the very chance that could support you. If you think you are never enough, you may spend years chasing approval that can never fully satisfy you because the wound is being fed from within. That is how deep the power of thought can go. It is not only shaping what you feel, it is shaping what you allow. It is shaping what you expect. It is shaping the way you respond when life offers you something new. A fearful mind may call a blessing dangerous because it feels unfamiliar. A loving mind may call that same blessing possible because it is willing to trust. The thought does not just describe reality, it helps create the experience of reality. There is something important to understand here. Loving thoughts do not mean you become blind. They do not mean you ignore wisdom. They do not mean you pretend every person is safe or every situation is easy. Loving thoughts are not foolish thoughts. They are clear thoughts. They are thoughts that support life rather than attack it. They are thoughts that protect without poisoning. They are thoughts that guide without shaming. They are thoughts that bring truth and peace together. A loving thought may say, I deserve respect. A loving thought may say, I can leave what hurts me. A loving thought may say, I do not need to fear every future moment. A loving thought may say, I can trust myself to choose again. Once you begin to see how much your thoughts are creating, you start to live with more care, not fear of thinking the wrong thing, but care. You begin to notice when the old patterns try to take over. You begin to hear the sentence before it finishes forming. You hear nothing ever works and pause. You hear I am too broken and pause. You hear it is too late for me and pause. And in that pause, something sacred happens. You remember that a thought is not the final truth. It is a habit of mind. It is a direction, and you can choose a new direction. This is one of the gentlest and strongest forms of power a person can have. Not the power to control everything outside, but the power to choose what is repeated inside. That inner choice is not small. It changes the kind of life you are building day by day, because your mind is always rehearsing something. It is rehearsing loss or trust. It is rehearsing fear or possibility. It is rehearsing shame or compassion. It is rehearsing struggle or peace. And whatever is rehearsed most often begins to feel most true. That is why a single thought repeated with feeling can become a belief, and a belief repeated over time can become the lens through which a whole life is seen. If the belief is, I have to struggle to drive good, then even rest may feel wrong. If the belief is love must be earned, then kindness may feel suspicious. If the belief is I am deeply supported by life, then even in hard times there can be a quiet steadiness. If the belief is I choose loving thoughts, then the whole tone of life begins to soften. The same world may still be here, but the way it is lived becomes different. Think about the kind of thoughts that often move through the mind without being questioned. I am late. I am failing. I am too old. I am too damaged. No one sees me. Nothing changes. I always have to be strong. I can never relax. It is selfish to care for myself. I have to control everything, or things will fall apart. These thoughts do not come and go like harmless clouds. If they are repeated every day, they become the weather of the soul. They become the climate of the inner world, And if the climate inside is always cold, tight, and stormy, then peace feels far away, even in beautiful moments. But the climate can change. Slowly, gently, faithfully, it can change. A new thought begins to enter. I am allowed to rest. I am learning to trust life. I can be kind to myself today. My worth is not in question. I can choose love over fear in this moment. Good can reach me. Healing can happen. These thoughts may feel simple, but simple does not mean weak. Repeated simple truths can reshape a whole life. They can become the sunlight after years of inner winter. They can thaw what has been frozen. They can soften what has been defended. They can make room for life again. Sometimes people wait for outer proof before they will choose better thoughts. They say, I will believe I am supported when life becomes easier. I will believe I am worthy when someone else loves me. I will believe good is possible when everything goes my way. But if thoughts are shaping experience, then waiting for the outside to change first can keep a person trapped. The deeper path is to begin within, to choose thoughts that sound like love before the full evidence appears, to speak peace before the storm has fully passed, to say, I am open to a better life, even while still learning how to believe it. This is not lying to yourself. It is planting a new future within yourself. It is choosing the direction of growth. A gardener does not plant a seed and then accuse the ground of lying because the flower has not appeared that same afternoon. Growth takes time. Repetition matters. Care matters. What you think today may not change your whole life before nightfall, but it is changing the soil. It is changing what can grow. It is changing the kind of energy your life is being fed from. And because of that, your thoughts are doing far more than most people realize. They are not only reacting to life, they are helping shape the life that unfolds through you. They are setting the tone for what you notice, what you expect, what you create room for, and what you reject. They are teaching your body whether to live in defense or in trust. They are teaching your heart whether to brace itself or open. They are teaching your spirit whether life is hostile or loving. No wonder it matters so much what is being said within. There is no need to become afraid of every thought. Fear does not heal fear. The invitation is not to control the mind with force. The invitation is to become aware, to become gentle, and to begin choosing with love. If an old painful thought appears, you do not need to panic. You simply notice it and say, I do not want to keep living from that place. Then you offer something new, something steady, something honest and kind. Over time, this becomes a different way of living, not a perfect mind, but a loving one. Not a mind free of all challenge, but a mind that no longer turns every challenge into self-punishment. And what a freedom that is, to know that you do not have to believe every fearful sentence that enters your head, to know that you can interrupt the old story, to know that thoughts are creating, and because they are creating, the ones you choose matter deeply. You are not trapped in yesterday's thinking unless you keep repeating it today. This day, this hour, this breath gives you another chance to choose what kind of inner world you want to live in. And from that inner world, a very different life can begin to grow. The mind learns by repetition. This is one of the simplest truths and one of the most powerful. The mind does not become convinced by what is said once in a while. It becomes shaped by what is said again and again. What is repeated becomes familiar. What is familiar begins to feel true. What feels true begins to guide emotion, choice, and behavior. That is why the thoughts you repeat matter so much. They are training your mind every single day, whether you realize it or not. If a person repeats, "I am not enough," the mind begins to accept that sentence as normal. It stops questioning it. It begins to build feelings around it. It begins to interpret life through it. A small mistake becomes proof. A delay becomes proof. A hard season becomes proof. The mind, once trained by repetition, starts collecting evidence for whatever it has learned to believe. If it has learned fear, it looks for danger. If it has learned shame, it looks for failure. If it has learned distrust, it looks for betrayal. It begins to shape experience around the repeated idea. But this truth works in a beautiful direction too. If a person begins repeating, "I am learning to love myself," the mind may resist at first. If a person begins repeating, "I choose peace," "I am safe in this moment," "life can support me," the old patterns may say, "That sounds strange, but..." And if these loving thoughts are repeated steadily, the mind begins to soften. What was once unfamiliar begins to become known. What was once hard to believe begins to feel possible. What once sounded like hope begins to feel like truth. The mind follows what it repeats. This is why so many people live inside old emotional patterns for years without understanding why change feels hard. They are trying to heal with occasional moments of kindness while repeating fear every other hour. They say one loving thing to themselves in the morning, but all day long the inner voice continues with criticism, pressure, doubt, blame, and harshness. Then they wonder why peace still feels far away. The answer is gentle but clear. The mind will follow what is practiced most often. It will follow the strongest pattern. It will move in the direction of what is repeated with feeling and consistency. That is why loving thoughts must become a practice, not only a wish. A person cannot spend all day saying, "I am failing, I am broken, nothing works," and then expect 1 minute of affirmation to fully undo the shape of that pattern. Healing asks for devotion, not harsh discipline, but loving devotion. It asks for returning again and again to a better thought. It asks for patience. It asks for understanding that the mind is like a path in a field. The more often one path is walked, the clearer it becomes. The less often another path is used, the more it begins to fade. Repetition creates the road. For many people, the old road has been built over years. It was built in childhood, in pain, in fear, in criticism, in survival. The thought, "I have to be perfect to be loved," may have been repeated for a very long time. The thought, "I must stay guarded to be safe," may have been repeated for a very long time. The thought, "I cannot trust life," may have been repeated for a very long time, so it makes sense that the mind goes there quickly. That does not mean something is wrong with you. It means the path has been walked often. It means the mind is doing what minds do. It is following what it has practiced. But you are not required to keep walking the same road forever. You can begin making a new path. At first, it may feel strange. When you are used to saying, "I always mess things up," it may feel unnatural to say, "I am learning and growing." When you are used to saying, "No one cares about me," it may feel unfamiliar to say, "I am open to love and support." When you are used to saying, "I am behind," it may feel unusual to say, "I am on my own path and I trust my timing," but unfamiliar does not mean false. It often means new. It often means healing has begun. The mind does not need dramatic words. It needs repeated truth. It needs language that is simple, steady, believable, and kind. That is why gentle affirmations can be so powerful, not because they are magic phrases, but because they offer the mind a new pattern to follow. When you repeat, "I choose loving thoughts," you are giving your mind a direction. When you repeat, "I am safe in this moment," you are giving your body a signal. When you repeat, "Life supports me," you are giving your spirit something soft to lean into. Each repetition matters. Each one is a drop of water on the stone. Each one is shaping. People sometimes become impatient with this process. They want to say one new sentence and feel transformed immediately. But the mind is not usually changed by force or by hurry. It changes by faithful repetition. Think of how a song becomes easy to remember after hearing it many times. Think of how a phrase from childhood can still echo decades later because it was repeated so often. Think of how quickly the mind returns to a fear that has been practiced for years. Repetition matters. If repetition can teach fear, it can also teach peace. If repetition can teach self-attack, it can also teach self-love. If repetition can train the mind into struggle, it can train the mind into trust. This is why you must be careful with the sentences you let become daily companions. Even jokes about yourself can become instructions if repeated enough. Even passing complaints can become beliefs if spoken every day. Even tired phrases like, "This is just who I am," can harden into limits if the mind hears them often enough. The mind does not always know the difference between a dramatic moment and a deep belief if the same words keep appearing. It listens, it stores, it learns, it follows what it repeats. So ask yourself, what have I been repeating lately? Not only out loud, but quietly, privately, in those moments when no one else can hear. What have you been saying while washing dishes, driving to work, lying awake at night, looking in the mirror, facing a mistake, wondering about the future? Have you been repeating pressure? Have you been repeating fear? Have you been repeating hopelessness? Have you been repeating self-blame? Or have you begun to repeat patience, worth, softness, possibility, trust? This question matters because your private repetitions become your inner reality. A person may look calm on the outside while repeating panic on the inside. A person may seem strong while repeating loneliness on the inside. A person may appear successful while repeating unworthiness on the inside. The repeated thought shapes the true lived experience far more than the image shown to the world. And this is why healing must go inward. It must meet the place where repetition is happening. It must bring love to the place where the old lines have been playing again and again. The good news is that you do not need to hate the old pattern to change it. Fighting the mind with anger only creates more conflict. The wiser way is to notice the pattern and gently replace it. The old line says, "I cannot do this." You answer, "I can take one step at a time." Me. The old line says, "Nothing good is coming." You answer, "I am open to unexpected good." The old line says, "I always ruin things." You answer, "I am learning and healing each day." This is how repetition begins to turn, not with violence against yourself, but with steady correction, loving correction, patient correction, again and again. At first, the old voice may return quickly. That is all right. A path used for years does not disappear because you stepped away once. But every time you choose the new thought, you are doing real work. Every time you refuse to keep feeding the old sentence, you are weakening its hold. Every time you return to peace, you are building trust. The mind may not thank you right away. It may still lean toward the familiar, but if you stay with the practice, it begins to shift. Slowly, almost quietly, the new way starts feeling more natural. The loving thought starts arriving sooner. The harsh thought starts losing authority. The body begins to believe what the heart has been practicing. Imagine waking each morning and beginning with the same simple truth. Today I choose loving thoughts. I choose peace. I choose to speak kindly to myself. If you say this once and forget it, it may be a nice moment, but if you say it every morning, and again when you feel stress, and again when you make a mistake, and again before you sleep, then it becomes something else. It becomes training. It becomes a pattern. It becomes a path the mind can follow when life feels uncertain. You are teaching yourself how to return. This kind of repetition is not empty. It becomes powerful because of what it interrupts. It interrupts the habit of waking up in dread. It interrupts the habit of using pain as proof against yourself. It interrupts the habit of speaking to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. It interrupts the old road and makes a new one possible. And the more often you use that new road, the more the mind learns that peace is available, kindness is available, and love is not something far away. It is something that can begin in thought. Some people think their repeated thoughts are harmless because they are used to them. They say, "I always talk to myself this way. It is just how I am." But if the repeated thoughts leave you anxious, ashamed, tired, closed, or hopeless, then they are not harmless. They are shaping your life. They are teaching your nervous system to stay tense. They are teaching your heart to stay guarded. They are teaching your spirit to expect struggle. That is why choosing a new repetition is one of the deepest forms of self-care. It is not selfish. It is wise. It is healing at the root. The mind loves what is familiar, even when the familiar is painful. This is why people often return to old thoughts. Even when they no longer want the feelings those thoughts create, the old pattern is known, and the mind finds comfort in what it knows. But this is where gentle courage is needed. You begin repeating something better before it feels natural. You begin saying, "I am worthy of love," before every part of you fully agrees. You begin saying, "Life can be good to me," before your past has caught up to that truth. You begin saying, "I choose loving thoughts," because you understand that the mind becomes familiar with whatever it hears most. And one day, often quietly, you notice something has changed. The thought that used to hurt you every morning no longer arrives as quickly. The fear that used to take over begins to loosen. The body starts to relax more easily. The mirror becomes less cruel. Rest feels less dangerous. Joy feels less suspicious. Hope feels less far away. Why? Because the mind has been listening. The mind has been learning. The mind has been following what it repeats. You have been teaching it a new way to live. This is why daily practice matters more than dramatic effort. A little love every day goes farther than one burst of inspiration followed by weeks of old habits. A kind sentence repeated often can do more than a perfect sentence. Said once, you do not need grand words, you need true words. You need words you are willing to return to, words that hold you, words that calm you, words that call you back to the person you want to become. I am safe. I am learning. I choose peace. I release fear. I trust life. I speak to myself with love. These simple truths, repeated faithfully, can reshape the whole inner world. It is also important to understand that repetition works through feeling. When you speak a loving thought and allow yourself to breathe with it, feel it, and rest in it even for a moment, it lands more deeply. The body begins to believe what the mind is saying. The heart begins to open to it. It becomes more than a sentence. It becomes an experience. That is why it helps to slow down when you choose a new thought. Not just to say, "I am at peace," while rushing into panic again, but to pause and let the words enter. Let the body hear them. Let the chest soften. Let the breath deepen. Let the nervous system receive the message. The more the body experiences peace while hearing peaceful thoughts, the more trust is built. The more the body experiences safety while hearing loving thoughts, the more the old fear begins to release. This is how deep change happens, not only in the mind as an idea, but in the whole being as a lived reality. The mind follows what it repeats, and the body follows what it feels repeatedly. So when thought and feeling begin to align in love, life begins to change from the inside out. And that change is not small. A person who repeats love becomes more able to receive love. A person who repeats peace becomes more able to choose peace in conflict. A person who repeats worth becomes less willing to remain where they are dishonored. A person who repeats trust becomes less ruled by panic. These are not tiny changes. They affect relationships, work, health, creativity, rest, and the future itself, all because the mind followed what it repeated. So be patient with yourself as you begin. Do not demand instant perfection. Do not expect years of fear to disappear in one afternoon. Just keep returning. Keep choosing. Keep repeating what heals. Keep speaking the thoughts that sound like truth wrapped in kindness. Keep planting them in the morning, watering them through the day, and resting in them at night. The mind is listening even when you do not see quick results. The heart is learning even when the old pattern still visits. The path is being made each time you walk it. And maybe that is one of the most hopeful truths of all. You do not have to force your life to change in one giant moment. You only have to begin teaching your mind a better song, one loving line at a time, one gentle repetition at a time, one peaceful thought at a time, because the mind will follow what it repeats. If you repeat fear, it will learn fear. If you repeat struggle, it will learn struggle. But if you repeat love, if you repeat trust, if you repeat peace, then slowly, beautifully, faithfully, your mind will learn a new way to live. Before life begins to look different on the outside, something begins to change on the inside. This is how loving thoughts work. They do not always rush in and change every outer condition in a single day, but they begin their quiet work within you right away. They touch the place where stress has been living. They soften the place where fear has been repeating itself. They bring light into the places that have felt tight, guarded, or tired for too long. Loving thoughts change your inner world first, and that inner change becomes the ground from which a new life can grow. So often, people wait for peace to come from outside. They think peace will arrive when the problem is solved, when the relationship is easier, when the money comes, when the future feels certain, when the body feels better, when all loose ends are tied up. Then they say, I will relax. Then I will feel better. Then I will let myself breathe. But peace that depends on perfect conditions is always fragile. It disappears the moment life becomes uncertain again. The deeper peace begins within, and it begins with the thoughts you allow to live inside you each day. A loving thought can calm the body in ways that many people do not fully understand. When you think a harsh thought, your whole system responds. The body becomes alert, the breath becomes shallow, the muscles tighten, the heart begins to prepare for trouble. But when you think a loving thought, something else happens. The body hears safety, the shoulders drop, the jaw softer. Ends, the breath becomes fuller, the chest opens, the nervous system receives a new message. A loving thought says, you do not need to stay at war right now. You can soften, you can rest, you can trust this moment a little more. This is one reason loving thoughts are so powerful. They do not only change your mood, they change your inner climate. They create a different atmosphere inside your body and mind. If the thoughts within you are gentle, patient, and kind, then your whole being begins to live in a softer place. You become less harsh toward your own mistakes. You become less afraid of your own emotions. You begin to hold yourself with more care, and from that place, healing becomes much more possible. Think of the difference between waking up with the thought, I am already behind, and waking up with the thought, I will meet this day with love. The day may still bring tasks, questions, and challenges, but the way you enter it is not the same. The first thought puts the body into pressure before the day has even begun. The second thought creates room. The first thought makes you brace. The second thought makes you breathe. The first thought turns the day into a fight. The second thought turns the day into something you can meet with steadiness. That is what loving thoughts do. They change the way you enter your own life. They do not always remove the challenge, but they change the spirit in which you meet it. And that changes more than you may realize. A person who meets life with inner kindness often makes wiser choices than a person who meets life with panic. A person who has learned to speak lovingly to themselves often recovers more quickly from disappointment than a person who attacks themselves after every hard moment. A person who carries peace inside is more able to notice what is beautiful, what is possible, and what truly matters. There is a deep kind of healing in simply no longer being cruel to yourself. So many people have lived for years with an inner voice that pushes, judges, blames, and threatens. They say things inwardly that they would never say to a child, never say to a friend, never say to someone they love. They speak to themselves as if harshness will create growth, but most often, harshness creates fear. It creates exhaustion. It creates distance from the self. It makes a person less able to hear their deeper wisdom because the mind is too loud with pressure. Loving thoughts create a different kind of space. They create safety inside, and safety is where so much healing begins. When you feel safe inside yourself, you can be honest about your needs. You can notice what hurts without feeling ashamed of it. You can admit you are tired without calling yourself weak. You can make a mistake without turning it into your whole identity. You can feel sadness without believing you are broken. Loving thoughts do not erase the human experience. They make it easier to move through the human experience with Gunai. Race. This is important because many people do not need more pressure. They need more compassion. They do not need more reasons to fear themselves. They need more reasons to trust themselves. They do not need to be told they must become perfect before they are worthy of peace. They need to remember that peace begins when they stop making war against their own heart. And loving thoughts are one of the first ways that war begins to end. Imagine carrying a cup of warm water through a cold morning. That warmth may seem small compared to the whole world around you, but it changes what you feel in your hands. Loving thoughts are like that. They may seem simple, but they change what you feel inside yourself. They warm the places that have grown cold from fear. They soften the edges made sharp by pain. They bring gentleness where there has been too much strain, and slowly that warmth spreads. It reaches into your reactions, your choices, your relationships, your habits, and your hope. Sometimes the first change is so quiet that you almost miss it. You may not suddenly feel like a different person, but perhaps one morning you notice that you did not insult yourself when you made a small mistake. Perhaps one afternoon you catch your breath before stress takes over. Perhaps one evening you place your hand on your heart instead of rushing deeper into worry. These are not small things. These are signs that your inner world is shifting. They are signs that love is becoming more familiar than fear. Loving thoughts also change the way you relate to time. When the mind is filled with fear, time feels like pressure. Everything feels late. Everything feels urgent. Everything feels like it must be solved right now. But when the mind is filled with loving thoughts, time begins to feel different. There is more space. There is more patience. There is more trust in process. You begin to understand that healing does not need to be rushed to be real. Growth does not need to be dramatic to be powerful. A better life can be built, one gentle thought at a time. This can be hard to accept in a world that teaches speed, force, and pressure. Many people have been taught that change must be intense to matter. They think if they are not pushing hard, they are not doing enough. But the deepest changes are often quiet. A tree does not become strong by rushing. The dawn does not become beautiful by hurrying. The heart does not become peaceful by being shouted at. There is wisdom in gentleness. There is strength in softness. There is real transformation in loving thoughts repeated day after day. The inner world responds to tone. It responds to how you speak to yourself. If the tone inside is always sharp, then the body lives in defense. If the tone inside is always hopeless, then the spirit begins to close. But if the tone inside becomes kind, the whole self begins to trust again. You begin to feel that you are on your own side, and that changes everything. Because when you are on your own side, you stop wasting so much energy fighting yourself. That energy becomes available for healing, for creating, for loving, for resting, for living. Many people are carrying pain that has nothing to do with the present moment and everything to do with the way they have been speaking to themselves for years. They may think the pain comes only from what happened to them. And yes, what happened matters. But sometimes the deeper wound remains open because of what the mind keeps repeating afterward. The event may have passed, but the mind keeps replaying it with blame, shame, and fear. Loving thoughts begin to interrupt that cycle. They begin to say, I do not want to keep hurting myself in the name of what already hurt me. I want to become a place of healing. That is such a tender turning point. The moment a person begins to understand that love is not weakness, but medicine. A loving thought is not denial. It is a new way of caring for the life within you. It is a way of saying, I will not keep feeding darkness when what I truly need is light. I will not keep speaking to myself in a way that makes healing harder. I will begin, even if slowly, to become a kinder place to live. When that happens, you start noticing that even your emotions change shape. Fear may still come, but it does not control you as completely. Sadness may still arrive, but it feels held instead of frightening. Uncertainty may still be present, but it no longer means disaster. Why? Because loving thoughts create a container strong enough to hold experience without breaking under it. They do not remove all challenge, but they change the relationship to challenge. They make you less fragile inside, not harder, but steadier, not colder, but wiser, not distant, but more deeply rooted in peace. And peace is not something small. Peace changes what you notice. Peace changes how you listen. Peace changes what kind of people and experiences feel right to you. When your inner world becomes less full of war, you stop feeling drawn to what keeps recreating that war. You begin to choose differently. You begin to honor your own energy. You begin to say no without guilt and yes without fear. You begin to feel what supports your life and what drains it. Loving thoughts help you hear these truths. The reason this matters so much is that every outer life is shaped by the condition of the inner one. If the inner world is full of attack, the outer life will often carry that same pattern. If the inner world is learning peace, the outer life begins to reflect it in countless subtle ways, not perfectly, not all at once, but steadily. A loving inner world makes room for a loving outer life. It helps you receive what once felt impossible to hold. It helps you become available for a different kind of experience. So if you ever wonder whether loving thoughts really matter, remember this. They change your breathing. They change your nervous system. They change your relationship with yourself. They change the amount of fear your body carries. They change the meaning you give to hard moments. They change what kind of day you are able to have. They change the climate within which your whole life unfolds. That is not small. That is the beginning of everything. And perhaps the most beautiful part is that you do not have to wait until you fully believe every loving thought before it begins to help you. Sometimes the healing begins the moment you are willing to speak differently, even a little. The moment you say, I want to think in a way that supports life. The moment you say, I no longer want fear to be the main voice in my mind. The moment you say, I choose loving thoughts, even if I am still learning how. That willingness is already a shift. That softness is already a door opening. Let yourself rest in that truth. Your inner world can become a kinder place. Your mind can become a softer place to live. Your body can learn safety again. Your heart can learn trust again. And it all begins so often with the thoughts you repeat in quiet moments. Loving thoughts change your inner world first. And when the inner world begins to change, the whole shape of life begins to change with it. There is more moving through life than what the eyes can see. People often think they are living only through action, through words, through plans, through visible effort, but beneath all of that, there is energy. There is the feeling you carry into a room. There is the tone behind your words. There is the spirit in which you move through the day. There is the quiet signal you send out through your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotional state. And life responds to that signal more than many people realize. The universe responds to your inner energy. This does not mean every single event is controlled by one passing thought. It does not mean life becomes a simple machine where every moment is explained in one easy sentence. Life is deeper and more mysterious than that. But it does mean that the energy you carry affects the way life meets you, the way you meet life, and the kind of experiences you are ready to notice, receive, or allow. Energy is not separate from your daily life. It is part of everything. It moves through the way you speak, the way you rest, the way you hope, the way you expect, the way you open, and the way you close. Think about how clearly you can feel someone's energy even before they say much. A person may smile, but you sense tension. Another person may speak softly, and you feel calm near them right away. A child can feel the mood in a room without anyone explaining it. Your own body knows the difference between a place that feels peaceful and a place that feels heavy. This is because energy is real. It may not always be loud, but it is always present. And in the same way, the energy you carry shapes how life is experienced through you. If your inner energy is filled with fear, then even neutral moments can feel threatening. Even good opportunities can feel dangerous. Even love can feel hard to trust. The mind searches for what matches the energy it knows. The body prepares for what it expects. The heart protects itself from what it thinks may hurt it. Fear does not only color your thoughts, it colors your whole way of moving through life. It makes the world feel harder to receive. It makes support harder to notice. It makes blessings feel like something that might disappear at any second. But when your inner energy begins to hold more peace, more trust, and more love, something shifts. You begin to notice what was always there but hard to feel before. You begin to see kindness more easily. You begin to recognize guidance more quickly. You begin to move toward life with less resistance. You become more open, more receptive, more able to let good reach you. The world may not have changed overnight, but your relationship with it has, and that alone can change everything. The universe responds not only to what you say with your lips, but to what you hold within your heart. A person may speak words of abundance while living in deep fear. A person may repeat affirmations while still clinging tightly to doubt. And because energy carries truth more deeply than performance, life responds to what is truly being lived inside. This is why inner alignment matters. Loving thoughts are not only helpful because they sound nice, they matter because they begin to change your actual energy. They make your words and your inner state start moving in the same direction. Imagine a window that has been shut for a long time. The sunlight has been outside the whole time, but the room remains dark because the opening is closed. In many ways, loving thoughts are like opening that window. They do not create the light from nothing. They allow it to enter. In the same way, peace, support, love, and guidance may already be near. But if your inner energy is closed with fear, shame, resistance, or constant self-attack, it becomes much harder to receive them. Loving thoughts help open the inner window. They say yes to life. They make you available to what is good. This is one of the reasons why inner peace can feel so magnetic. People are drawn to it. Opportunities seem to move toward it. Wisdom rises more clearly within it. When you are deeply tense, you often cannot hear your own deeper knowing. The noise is too loud. The fear is too strong. But when you calm your energy, something beautiful happens. You hear more clearly. You sense more clearly. You choose more clearly. It becomes easier to see what is right for you and what is not. It becomes easier to recognize the gentle movement of life. Many people think they must fight harder to receive more. They think the answer is more force, more pushing, more effort from a place of stress. But the universe does not always respond best to strain. Very often, it responds to openness. It responds to trust. It responds to the quiet strength of a person whose energy says, I am ready to receive what is good for me. This does not mean becoming passive. It means no longer letting fear be the main voice that guides your movement. It means acting from peace instead of panic. It means choosing from trust instead of desperation. There is a real difference between reaching for something with calm openness and reaching for something with fear. When fear is in control, the energy says, I do not have enough. I may lose this. I am not safe. I must grasp tighter. When love is in control, the energy says, what is meant for me can reach me. I can trust the right timing. I do not have to force what belongs to me. These energies create very different experiences. Fear tightens the hand, love opens it, fear contracts the body. Love softens it. Fear makes you chase from emptiness. Love lets you receive from wholeness. This is why calm energy is so powerful. Calm is not laziness. Calm is not weakness. Calm is alignment. It is a state in which your body is no longer fighting every moment. Your mind is no longer shouting over every possibility, and your heart is no longer closed against life. Calm tells the universe, I trust enough to receive. Calm makes room for insight. Calm makes room for healing. Calm makes room for the right people, the right choices, the right timing, and the right opportunities to appear more clearly. Have you ever noticed how solutions often come when you stop pushing so hard? The answer arrives in the shower, during a walk, in a quiet moment before sleep, after you finally stop forcing the mind to figure everything out. This happens because relaxed energy can hear what frightened energy often misses. When the inner world is less crowded with control, something wiser can come through. Life can meet you more gently. Guidance can rise. The next step can reveal itself without all the noise. The same is true in relationships. If your inner energy says, I am not worthy of love, then even when love appears, you may shrink from it, doubt it, or push it away. If your inner energy says, people always leave, you may expect disappointment before connection has even had a chance to breathe. But if your energy begins to say, I am worthy of respect, I am open to safe love, I do not need to chase what is right for me, then you begin to meet others differently. You become more available for the kind of connection that matches your healing rather than your fear. This is not about blaming yourself for every difficult thing that has happened. life is more complex and pain is real, but there is also power in seeing that your inner energy is part of what shapes your path forward. If you do not like the atmosphere you have been living in, you can begin changing what you are carrying within. You can begin speaking differently. You can begin breathing differently. You can begin expecting differently. You can begin trusting that love is a real force, not only a soft idea, but a living energy that changes the whole way you move through the world. Loving thoughts become especially important here because thoughts create energy. The thought, I am supported, creates a very different energy from the thought, I am alone in everything. The thought, I choose peace, creates a very different field than the thought, I must stay tense to stay safe. The thought, life can bring me good, creates a very different opening than the thought, nothing ever works out for me. These thoughts are not only sentences, they are energies. They shape how you feel, how you expect, and how you receive. And the universe is always responding. Life mirrors, life echoes, life meets the energy you are practicing within. If you keep living in the energy of struggle, then even blessings may be experienced through struggle. If you begin living in the energy of trust, then even hard moments may carry a different kind of support. When you choose loving thoughts, you are choosing a more open energy. You are telling life, I am willing to experience this differently. I am willing to meet the world without so much fear. I am willing to become a space where peace can land and stay. This also means that the work is not only about saying the right words. It is about letting those words shape your actual state. You do not need to perform peace. You need to practice it. You do not need to pretend trust. You need to return to it again and again until it becomes more natural. You do not need to force yourself into a bright feeling that is not real. You need to speak lovingly enough, breathe slowly enough, and listen inwardly enough that your energy has time to change. That is true alignment. That is when the words begin to live in the body. And once the energy begins to shift, life often feels different in subtle but powerful ways. You walk into a conversation less defended. You notice an opportunity you would once have ignored. You respond to a delay with more patience. You stop assuming the worst so quickly. You allow help. You allow rest. You allow joy without immediately fearing it will vanish. These are signs that your inner energy is changing. And as it changes, life begins to answer in kind, more ease, more right timing, more clarity, more moments that feel like quiet grace. You do not have to understand every mystery of the universe to live in harmony with this truth. You only need to notice the effect of your own inner state. Notice how fear closes you. Notice how love opens you. Notice how tension makes everything feel harder. Notice how calm helps wisdom rise. Notice how trust changes your breathing. Notice how gratitude changes the whole tone of a day. These are not imaginary things. They are signs of how deeply inner energy matters. There is great wisdom in becoming responsible for the energy you bring into your own life. Not in a harsh way, not in a way that blames or pressures, but in a loving way. in a way that says, I care about what I am feeding within myself. I care about the tone of my thoughts. I care about the state of my heart. I care about the atmosphere I carry into my relationships, my choices, my work, and my healing. This kind of awareness is a form of spiritual maturity. It is a way of living that honors the unseen as much as the seen. So when you choose loving thoughts, you are doing more than feeling better for a moment. You are changing your inner energy. You are tuning yourself to peace instead of panic, openness instead of resistance, trust instead of control. And the universe responds to that. Life meets you there. Guidance meets you there. The right next step often meets you there. Not because you forced life to obey, but because you became available for a better experience of it. You opened, you softened, you aligned. And this is one of the most beautiful truths of all. You do not have to carry heavy energy forever. You do not have to live in a closed state. You do not have to keep sending fear into every tomorrow. You can begin now. One breath, one loving thought, one softened reaction, one gentle moment of trust. The universe responds to your inner energy, and your inner energy can change. That means your experience of life can change too. If loving thoughts open the way, then resistance, fear, and old negative patterns are what often close it. They do not always look dramatic. Sometimes they are very quiet. Sometimes they sound like a familiar sentence in the mind. Sometimes they feel like a tightness in the chest. Sometimes they show up as doubt the moment something good appears. Sometimes they arrive as a habit of expecting disappointment before life has even had a chance to unfold. These patterns can become so familiar that a person forgets they are patterns at all. They begin to feel like personality. They begin to feel like truth. But resistance, fear, and negativity are not the deepest truth of who you are. They are learned ways of protecting, bracing, and surviving. And because they are learned, they can be softened. Resistance is often misunderstood. People think resistance is only a strong no, only a loud refusal. But very often resistance is subtle. It is the thought that could never happen for me. It is the shrug that hides disappointment before hope has even begun. It is the habit of brushing away a compliment. It is the need to question every good thing that comes near. It is the fear of resting because busyness feels safer. It is the way someone says they want peace, but keeps feeding thoughts that create war inside. Resistance is not always visible, but it has great power because it quietly blocks. Hat the heart may truly be asking for. Fear works in a similar way. Fear is not always loud panic. Sometimes it is simply the constant expectation that something will go wrong. Sometimes it is the belief that life must be controlled in order to be safe. Sometimes it is the thought that joy cannot be trusted because it may not last. Sometimes it is the old pain that keeps whispering, "Do not open too much. Do not hope too much. Do not believe too much." Fear wants to protect you from hurt. But when fear becomes the main guide, it often protects you from life itself. It keeps you from receiving what could heal you because it sees all openness as danger. Negative patterns grow from repetition. They are the thoughts that have been practiced so often that they now rise automatically. No one will stay. I always ruin things. Good things are for other people. I cannot trust anyone. I am too late. I am too damaged. Life is against me. These thoughts may not have begun with you. Perhaps they were shaped by old experiences, old words, old wounds, old disappointments. But if they are being repeated now, they are shaping your present. They are creating an inner wall between you and the peace, love, and support you may long to feel. This is why it is so important to notice the patterns without becoming ashamed of them. Shame only creates another layer of pain. It says, "Look how negative you are. Look how fearful you are. Look how far you still have to go." But healing does not grow well in shame. Healing grows in awareness and compassion. The wiser question is not, "What is wrong with me?" The wiser question is, "What have I been repeating, and is it helping me live?" Once you ask that question honestly, a doorway begins to open. Awareness loosens what shame only tightens. Many people do not realize how often they push away the very things they say they want. They say they want love, but when someone kind appears, the old pattern says, "Do not trust this." They say they want peace, but they keep replaying painful stories in the mind all day. They say they want abundance, but every new chance is met with the thought, "It will not last." They say they want healing, but speak to themselves in ways that keep the wound alive. This is not because they do not deserve good. It is because the old pattern still believes that staying guarded is safer than opening. And that makes sense. The mind often learned these patterns for a reason. At some point, fear may have seemed wise. Resistance may have felt protective. Negativity may have felt realistic. If life has hurt you, then expecting pain can seem like a way to avoid surprise. If love has disappointed you, then closing early can seem safer than hoping. If you were criticized often, then criticizing yourself first may feel like a strange form of control. These patterns do not appear without history. They often begin as ways of surviving, but what once helped you survive may now be keeping you from living fully. This is a very tender truth. You do not have to hate the old pattern. You do not have to punish yourself for it. You only have to begin seeing that it is no longer serving the life you want to build. A coat may be useful in winter, but heavy in summer. In the same way, fear and resistance may have once helped you get through a painful season, but now they may be making your heart too hot, too tired, too closed. You can thank them for trying to protect you and still choose a new way. You can say, "I understand why this pattern formed, but I do not want it guiding me anymore." Negative patterns block the flow of life because they block your openness. They make it harder to receive support, harder to feel safe, harder to trust timing, harder to rest, harder to hear inner wisdom. When you live in constant fear, you often cannot sense what is actually happening because the mind is too busy preparing for what might go wrong. When you live in resistance, you often close the door before life has even knocked. When you live in negativity, you often overlook the very signs of goodness that could begin healing your vision of life. This does not mean you must become blind to difficulty. It means you no longer want difficulty to be the only thing your mind knows how to look for. You no longer want fear to be the main language through which you interpret every event. You no longer want your old patterns to decide what is possible before the present moment has even spoken. You want to make room for a new response, a calmer response, a more loving response, a response that does not come from old pain alone. That new response often begins very simply. It begins when you catch yourself in a moment of fear and pause. The mind says, "This will go badly," and instead of racing forward with that thought, you stop, you breathe, you notice, you say, "That is fear speaking. I do not have to follow it all the way." The pattern says, "I do not deserve this good thing," and instead of shrinking, you say, "I am learning to receive." The old belief says, "I must stay guarded," and you answer, "I can be wise without being closed." These are small moments, but they matter deeply. They are the moments when the pattern is no longer running the whole show. Resistance weakens when it is seen with kindness. Fear loosens when it is met with calm truth. Negative patterns begin to fade when they are no longer fed every day. This is why loving thoughts are not just pleasant extras. They are part of how the old wall comes down. Each loving thought is like opening a crack in a dark room. Each patient thought is like fresh air entering a place that has been shut tight. Each gentle thought says to the heart, "You do not have to stay closed like this forever." Imagine trying to receive water while keeping your hands tightly closed. The more tightly you clench, the less you can hold. That is what fear and resistance often do. They close the hand of the heart. They say, "Hold tighter, expect less, trust nothing, brace for disappointment." But life does not flow easily into a clenched space. Peace does not settle well in a body that is always preparing for attack. Love does not thrive where every good thing is met with suspicion. Healing needs some room. It needs some breath. It needs the willingness to soften. Willingness is very important here. You do not have to be fully free of fear before the flow can begin again. You only need to become willing to loosen your grip a little, willing to question the old story, willing to stop feeding every dark thought as if it were law, willing to believe that maybe the future does not have to repeat the past in the same way, willing to let love speak louder than fear, even for one moment. That willingness is enough to begin. It helps to remember that a pattern is not the same thing as identity. You may have practiced fear, but fear is not your true self. You may have repeated harsh thoughts, but harshness is not your deepest nature. You may have lived in resistance, but resistance is not the full story of who you are. Beneath these patterns, there is still a place in you that knows how to soften, how to trust, how to love, how to rest. That place may feel buried, but it is still there. Loving thoughts help you find it again. Sometimes people worry that if they release fear, they will become careless. If they let go of resistance, they will become foolish. If they stop expecting the worst, they will be unprepared. But living with an open heart does not mean living without wisdom. Love is not blind. Peace is not weak. Trust is not ignorance. You can be discerning and still be soft. You can protect your energy without poisoning it with fear. You can choose wisely without living in constant suspicion. In fact, a peaceful mind often sees more clearly than a fearful one. Negative patterns also block the flow because they drain energy. It takes so much effort to stay tense all the time. It takes so much life force to replay pain again and again, to question every blessing, to expect disappointment from every corner, that energy could be used for healing. It could be used for creating something beautiful. It could be used for deep rest, for honest connection, for new choices, for a better life. But as long as fear keeps consuming it, the person feels tired before they have even begun. This is why peace can feel so life-giving. It returns energy to the soul. And perhaps that is one of the kindest reasons to release old negative patterns, not because you must become impressive, but because you deserve relief. You deserve an inner world that does not keep hurting you. You deserve thoughts that support your healing. You deserve a mind that is not always trying to convince you that life is only struggle. You deserve to breathe without carrying so much imagined pain into each new day. Releasing fear is not only spiritual, it is deeply human. It is a way of letting yourself live. So when you notice resistance in yourself, do not attack it. Sit with it for a moment. Ask it what it is afraid of. Listen with care. Then gently remind yourself that you are no longer required to obey every old fear. You are allowed to learn a better way. You are allowed to open slowly. You are allowed to become a place where peace can stay. You are allowed to choose thoughts that help life flow again, not all at once, not by force, but steadily, honestly, with patience. The flow returns when the heart no longer insists on staying shut. The flow returns when the mind no longer feeds every fearful pattern without question. The flow returns when you stop using your thoughts to block the very love, support, and healing you long for. That return may begin with one breath, one softened belief, one moment of saying, I do not want fear to decide everything anymore. One quiet opening. And once the opening begins, life can start moving through you in a new way. Choosing loving thoughts is not something you do once and then never need again. It is not a single decision that solves everything forever. It is a daily practice. It is something you return to in small moments, ordinary moments, quiet moments, and difficult moments. It is the way you meet yourself when you wake up. It is the way you speak to yourself when something goes wrong. It is the way you guide your own mind back to peace when fear tries to take over. Loving thoughts become powerful not only because they are true, but because they are practiced. Many people think real change must happen in one big moment. They wait for one deep breakthrough, one perfect realization, one day when everything suddenly feels easy. But most healing does not work that way. Most healing is built through repetition. It is built through the small acts of returning to gentleness when the mind becomes harsh, returning to trust when worry grows loud, returning to patience when the day feels rushed, returning to love when the old patterns begin speaking again. The daily practice matters because the mind becomes shaped by what it meets most often. This means loving thoughts are not only for calm days, they are most needed on the days when you feel tired, doubtful, or discouraged. It is easy to speak kindly to yourself when everything is going well. The deeper practice begins when life feels uncertain. The deeper practice begins when you make a mistake and choose not to turn it into self-attack. It begins when you feel fear and choose not to feed it with 10 more fearful thoughts. It begins when the old story says, "This is hopeless," and you gently answer, "I am willing to see this with more love." These are the moments that build a new life from within. Daily practice does not need to be dramatic. It can be very simple. It can begin before you even get out of bed. You place a hand on your heart and say, "Today I choose loving thoughts. Today I choose peace. Today I choose to speak gently to myself." You may not fully feel every word at first, but that is all right. The power is in the returning. The power is in teaching the mind what direction you want it to follow. The morning matters because it sets a tone. It tells your inner world how you want to enter the day. Then the practice continues in little moments. You spill something, forget something, miss something, and the old voice tries to rise. But this time you notice it. Instead of saying, "I am so careless," you say, "I am human and I can slow down." Instead of saying, "Everything is going wrong," you say, "I can meet this one thing at a time." Instead of saying, "I always ruin things," you say, "I am learning." These may seem like small changes in language, but they are not small. They are a new form of inner leadership. They are a new agreement with yourself. They are how you begin to live in a kinder mind. The daily practice is also about what you allow to stay in your mind for too long. Every mind has passing thoughts. Not every thought needs to be feared. Not every negative sentence means something has gone wrong. But what matters is what you keep feeding. A thought may appear that says, "I am not enough." You do not need to panic because it appeared. You simply notice it and decide not to build a home for it. You do not sit it at the table, give it your full attention, and let it shape the rest of your day. You answer it with care. You say, "I do not want to practice that thought anymore. I choose something kinder now." This is how loving thoughts become a real practice instead of a nice idea. They begin to guide your responses. They begin to shape your habits. They begin to become the new normal. And yes, there may still be days when the old patterns feel strong. There may be mornings when fear wakes up before your hope does. There may be afternoons when self-doubt feels louder than peace. But even then, the practice remains. You can always begin again. You can always pause. You can always soften. You can always return to one loving thought and let that be enough for the moment. One reason this practice is so important is that the world around you may not always speak to you with love. The world may rush you. It may compare you. It may pressure you. It may tempt you into old fear. This is why your inner voice matters so much. It becomes a place of shelter. It becomes a place where truth can still live. It becomes a place where you are not always pushed harder, judged faster, or told to become more before you are allowed to rest. The daily practice of loving thoughts creates an inner home, and in that home, your heart can breathe. There is also deep wisdom in understanding that loving thoughts are not the same as pretending, choosing. Loving thoughts does not mean you ignore your pain. It does not mean you act cheerful when you are hurting. It does not mean you deny what needs attention. It means you meet what is real with care instead of cruelty. It means that if sadness is here, you do not say, "What is wrong with me now?" You say, "I am having a hard moment, and I will be gentle with myself in it." If fear is here, you do not say, "I should be over this." You say, "I am learning safety one breath at a time." This is love in practice. A daily practice works because it teaches the whole self that a new way is possible. The mind learns, the body learns, the heart learns. The nervous system begins to understand that not every mistake means danger. Not every delay means failure. Not every uncertain moment means collapse. It begins to trust your guidance. It begins to believe that you will not abandon yourself so quickly. And what a beautiful thing that is when your own system begins to feel that you are becoming safe company for yourself. Sometimes the practice looks like choosing what you read, what you listen to, what conversations you stay in, and what kind of energy you let shape your day. The mind is always being fed by something. It is fed by words, images, tone, memory, and attention. So daily practice includes being more mindful of what you keep around your spirit. Are you feeding your mind only pressure and noise? Are you feeding it voices that make you feel small? Are you feeding it stories of fear all day long? Or are you giving it moments of quiet, moments of truth, moments of beauty, moments of language that help it soften and heal? The practice also includes patience. This is very important. If you expect instant perfection, you will turn healing into another form of pressure. The loving path is not about never having a fearful thought again. It is about no longer making fear the leader. It is about learning to come back more quickly to what is true, kind, and peaceful. Some days you will return easily. Some days you will need to return again and again. Both are part of the practice. Neither means you are failing. It only means you are growing in real time. It can help to think of loving thoughts as brushing the mind clean each day. Just as the body is cared for regularly, the mind also needs gentle daily care. Fear gathers, stress gathers, old voices gather. The practice is how you clear space again. A few quiet minutes in the morning. A few steady breaths in the middle of stress. A few loving words before sleep. These are like small acts of cleansing. They keep the inner world from becoming crowded with everything that does not belong there. They make it easier for peace to stay. Daily practice changes your future because it changes what you are building now. A person who practices fear each day becomes more practiced in fear. A person who practices oving thoughts each day becomes more practiced in peace. It is not complicated, though it does ask for devotion. You become what you keep returning to. You become shaped by what you rehearse inwardly. That is why this practice is so powerful. It is not only helping you feel better in the moment, it is preparing the kind of person you will be tomorrow, next month, next year. It is shaping the atmosphere in which your future life will grow. There will be moments when you feel tired of practicing, moments when you think, why does this still take effort? Why do I still need to remind myself? But that is part of being human. Even a loving garden needs regular tending. Even a peaceful room gathers dust. Even a strong body benefits from daily care. Repetition is not proof of weakness. It is proof that you are honoring what matters, and what matters here is the quality of your inner life. What matters is whether your thoughts are helping you become more alive or keeping you trapped in old pain. On some days, the daily practice may be as simple as one sentence repeated often. I choose love over fear in this moment. On other days, it may be a longer return. You may need to sit quietly, breathe slowly, place your hand on your heart, and remind yourself, I do not have to solve my whole life right now. I only need to speak kindly to myself here. I only need to take the next step with peace. The form may change, but the spirit is the same. The spirit is one of tenderness, patience, and direction. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. What once felt unfamiliar begins to feel like home. The loving thought begins to arrive sooner. The harsh response begins to lose strength. The pause becomes easier. The breath becomes deeper. The inner voice becomes less sharp and more wise. This is how change happens, quietly, steadily, daily. Not through force, but through practice. Not through shame, but through return. Not through becoming someone else, but through remembering how to live from love. And one day you may look back and realize that the daily practice has changed more than your thoughts. It has changed your whole way of being. You are calmer, more open, less reactive, more patient, less willing to believe every fearful sentence, more willing to receive good, more able to trust your own heart. That is the fruit of practice. That is what grows when loving thoughts are chosen again and again. They become more than words. They become a path. They become a way of life. The mind is always listening, and because it is always listening, the words you repeat matter deeply. This is why affirmations can be such a gentle and powerful tool. An affirmation is not just a pleasant sentence. It is a chosen thought repeated with care. It is a way of guiding the mind away from old fear and toward a better inner truth. It is a way of offering the heart a new message to live by. And when spoken simply, softly, and often, affirmations can begin to reshape the whole inner world. Many people think affirmations only work if they already believe every word, but that is not how the mind usually changes. Most of the time, belief grows through repetition. You may begin by saying an affirmation because you want to learn it, not because it feels fully natural yet. You may speak it because some small part of you is ready for a new way. That is enough. The mind does not need instant perfection. It needs a new direction. It needs a new sentence. to hear more often than the old painful one. That is how reshaping begins. The most helpful affirmations are often the simplest. They do not need hard words. They do not need to sound grand. They only need to be clear, kind, and easy to return to. A simple affirmation like, "I choose loving thoughts," can do deep work when spoken often. So can, "I am safe in this moment." So can, "Life is supporting me." So can, "I speak to myself with love." These kinds of sentences are powerful because they go directly to the places that need healing. They answer fear with calm. They answer pressure with gentleness. They answer old patterns with a new path. It helps to use affirmations at certain times of the day. The morning is a beautiful place to begin. Before the world gets loud, before the rush begins, before old worries take over, you can plant a better thought. You can open your eyes, breathe slowly, and say, "Today I choose peace. Today I choose loving thoughts. Today I trust life to guide me step by step." These words set a tone. They tell your mind what kind of day you want to build from within. They are like placing a light in the room before the noise arrives. Affirmations are also very helpful in moments when old patterns try to return, when stress rises, when fear appears, when self-doubt speaks. That is the moment to answer with a chosen truth. The mind says, "I cannot handle this." You answer, "I can take one step at a time." The mind says, "Everything is going wrong." You answer, "I choose peace in this moment." The mind says, "I am not enough." You answer, "I am worthy of love and care." These are not empty lines. They are corrections. They are ways of no longer letting the old voice speak without challenge. One beautiful thing about affirmations is that they help create space between you and the thought patterns you have outgrown. When you choose an affirmation, you are reminding yourself that you do not have to live only from the first fearful sentence that appears. You can respond, you can redirect, you can guide the mind. That alone is powerful. It means you are not trapped inside automatic thinking. It means you are building a more conscious inner life. There is also something calming about speaking an affirmation out loud. The ears hear it. The body feels the tone. The breath often slows naturally. The words become more than silent thinking. They become a physical act of choosing. Even whispering can have a powerful effect. A quiet sentence spoken with sincerity can soften the nervous system and bring the heart back to center. When you say, "I am safe," and really pause to breathe with it, the body begins to listen. When you say, "I trust life," and let your shoulders soften, the whole system receives a different message. This is why it helps not to rush through affirmations as if they are a chore. They are not magic words to throw into the air without feeling. They are invitations. They are medicine for the inner world. Speak them slowly enough that the mind can hear them. Speak them softly enough that the heart can trust them. Speak them often enough that they begin to feel familiar. Repetition matters, tone matters, presence matters. The more gently you bring an affirmation into your day, the more deeply it can begin to root. Some affirmations work well because they answer a very specific wound. If a person often feels unsafe, then an affirmation like, "I am safe in this moment," can be very healing. If someone struggles with self-criticism, then, "I speak to myself with kindness," may be powerful. If someone feels blocked by fear of the future, then "Life is guiding me one step at a time," may offer peace. The point is not to collect 100 lines. The point is to find a few true ones that you are willing to live with, breathe with, and return to regularly. A few simple affirmations that match this path might be, "I choose loving thoughts. I am safe right now. Life is supporting me. I trust the good that is growing in my life. I release fear and return to peace. I am worthy of love, rest, and healing. My mind can learn a kinder way. I welcome calm into my body and heart. I do not need to attack myself to grow." These kinds of words are simple enough for the mind to remember and gentle enough for the heart to receive. Sometimes people become discouraged because an affirmation does not feel true. The first few times they say it, they think, "Maybe this does not work for me." But often, what they are feeling is simply the difference between the old pattern and the new one. The old thought has been practiced for years. The new thought is still fresh. Of course, it may feel unfamiliar at first. That does not mean it is wrong. It may mean it is exactly the medicine the old pattern has been resisting. Stay with it. Let it become known. Let the mind hear it enough times that it stops sounding foreign and starts sounding possible. Affirmations can also help reshape identity. Many old patterns are connected to the way a person quietly sees themselves. I am the one who struggles. I am the one who is forgotten. I am the one who must carry everything. I am the one who cannot rest. These identity patterns are strong because they have often been repeated through years of emotion and memory. But affirmations can begin shifting identity into something softer and truer. I am someone who is learning peace. I am someone who deserves love. I am someone who can choose better thoughts. I am someone who is supported by life. Over time, the mind begins to live more naturally inside these truths. It can be very powerful to connect affirmations to the body. Place your hand on your heart when you speak them. Breathe slowly before saying them. Relax your jaw. Let your body hear that these words are not another demand. They are a gift. This matters because the body remembers tone. If affirmations are spoken with pressure, the body may hear them as one more task, but if they are spoken with warmth and patience, the body begins to receive them as safety. That is when they go deeper. That is when they begin to reshape not only the mind, but the felt experience of being alive. You can also use affirmations at night. The final moments before sleep are tender. The mind is softer there. Instead of ending the day with worry, replaying mistakes, or rehearsing fear for tomorrow, you can close the day with a chosen truth. Tonight I rest in peace. Life is caring for me even now. I release what I cannot carry anymore. I am safe to soften. These words can become a gentle bridge into rest. They teach the mind that sleep does not need to be entered through tension. It can be entered through trust. Affirmations are especially helpful because they interrupt the mind's habit of speaking unconsciously. Without practice, many people spend the day affirming fear without even noticing. They say things like, "I am so stressed, nothing ever works, I cannot do this, I am exhausted, people always disappoint me, I will never change." These are affirmations too, even if they are painful ones. They are repeated statements that shape the mind. So the goal is not merely to add positive sentences on top of old patterns. The deeper goal is to become more aware of what you are already affirming and then choose differently. This awareness is freeing. It means you begin to hear your inner language with more honesty. You notice the old line. You stop repeating it. You replace it with something kinder. That moment of replacement is powerful. It is the point where the future begins to turn. It is the point where the mind is no longer left alone with whatever fear first offers. You step in with intention. You plant a better seed, and day by day, those seeds begin to grow. A simple affirmation repeated with love can become a doorway into a completely different life. Not because the words alone do everything, but because they shape the tone of your inner world. They teach the mind to return to peace. They teach the heart to remain open. They teach the body to feel safer. They teach the spirit that love is not just a rare moment. It is something that can be practiced. It is something that can be chosen. So let the affirmations you use be easy to remember and gentle to hold. Let them be simple enough to speak in the middle of a hard moment. Let them be kind enough to soften the body instead of pressuring it. Let them be true enough to grow roots in your life. A few steady words, repeated often, can reshape more than you imagine. They can become the new voice you live by. They can become the bridge from fear to peace. They can become the language of the better life you are creating from within. There is a quiet change that begins when you stop living as if life is only a struggle and start living as if good is already possible. This does not mean pretending every moment is easy. It does not mean denying pain or refusing to see what is hard. It means allowing yourself to believe that goodness can still reach you. It means no longer making fear the only lens through which you see the future. It means opening your heart enough to say, maybe life can support me more than I have allowed myself to believe. Many people are not only afraid of pain, they are also afraid of hope. Hope can feel risky when life has disappointed you. If you have been hurt, delayed, or let down before, then expecting good may feel dangerous. It may seem safer to assume the worst, safer to stay guarded, safer to keep your heart small. But when you live that way for too long, you do not only protect yourself from disappointment, you also block yourself from joy. You stop noticing the ways life is trying to meet you. You stop preparing your inner world to receive better things. Living as if good is already possible begins in the mind, but it soon touches every part of life. When you believe good is possible, you speak differently, you walk differently, you respond differently. You become less quick to close down. You become less quick to turn every delay into a final defeat. You begin to hold space for good even before it has fully arrived, and that space matters. It changes the energy you carry. It changes the choices you make. It changes what you are willing to receive. Think about how different the day feels when you wake up and say, maybe something beautiful can happen today. The day may still include ordinary tasks and small frustrations, but the inner tone is not the same. You are not entering life with a closed fist. You are entering with openness. You are available for a kind word, a moment of peace, an unexpected answer, a gentle sign, a new idea, a better feeling than the one you had yesterday. Goodness often arrives quietly. If your whole inner world is trained only to look for what is wrong, you may miss it. This is one of the deepest reasons for choosing loving thoughts. Loving thoughts make it easier to believe that good is not foolish to expect. They help you understand that expecting good is not the same as demanding perfection. It is simply an inner posture of openness. It is the willingness to stop saying, "Nothing ever changes," and begin saying, "I am open to life meeting me in a better way." That shift is powerful. It takes you out of constant defense and places you into a more living relationship with hope. When you live as if good is possible, you also stop treating yourself as if pain is the only truth you deserve. You begin to rest without guilt. You begin to receive kindness without pushing it away so quickly. You begin to imagine a future that is not built only from old wounds. This is not fantasy. It is healing. It is what happens when the mind stops using the past as the only map for what can come next. It is what happens when you allow love to become part of your vision again. There is a kind of spiritual softness in this way of living. You begin to move with more trust, not blind trust, but living trust. You trust that every day does not have to repeat the same pain. You trust that healing can happen in quiet ways. You trust that support can appear in forms you may not have planned. You trust that one loving thought can change the whole feeling of a moment. And because you trust a little more, you grasp a little less. You resist a little less. You fear every future moment a little less. This is how life starts to feel more open. Living as if good is possible does not mean you sit still and wait for life to do everything for you. It means that when the right step appears, you are more ready to take it. You say yes more freely to what supports you. You do not talk yourself out of every blessing. You do not reject help before it arrives. You do not close the door on peace because it feels unfamiliar. You begin to cooperate with the good that is trying to enter your life. You meet it halfway with readiness instead of suspicion. This also changes how you relate to small moments. Many people are waiting for one giant miracle while missing the quiet miracles already around them. A soft sunrise, a deep breath, a kind message, a moment without fear, a little more energy than yesterday, a moment of laughter in the middle of a hard week. a sudden feeling of peace that was not there before. These things matter. They are signs that goodness is real. They are reminders that life is not only pain. When you live as if good is possible, you begin to notice these moments more often, and they begin to strengthen your trust. Trust grows through noticing. The more you notice what is supportive, loving, calm, and healing, the more your mind learns that life is not only against you. The more your mind learns that, the more available you become for the next good thing. This is how a better life often begins. Not through one loud event, but through a new relationship with goodness, a new willingness to see it, feel it, welcome it, and live in a way that makes room for it. There is also freedom in no longer speaking against your own future. Many people spend years saying things like, "That will never happen for me. Love is too hard. Peace is not possible for me. Good things do not last. I always lose what matters." These thoughts close the door before life has even tried to enter. But when you begin to live as if good is possible, your language changes. You say, "I am open to peace. I am open to safe love. I am open to healing. I am open to life surprising me in beautiful ways." These words create room. They create a better inner atmosphere. They call your energy toward hope instead of despair. It is important to remember that possibility does not need certainty in order to be real. You do not have to know exactly how things will unfold in order to believe that good can come. You do not have to control every step. In fact, one of the great joys of living this way is that you stop trying to force every outcome. You begin to trust that life can bring goodness in ways you have not fully imagined. That trust softens the mind, it softens the body, it makes the journey less heavy. A person who lives as if good is possible often becomes more peaceful, not because life never challenges them, but because they no longer believe that every challenge means disaster. They know that difficulty can exist without becoming their whole identity. They know that hard seasons can still carry growth. They know that support can still be present even when the path is unclear. This kind of person becomes steadier. They become less ruled by panic. They become more willing to receive the quiet beauty of life as it appears, and that beauty begins to gather. This way of living also affects what you accept from others. When you believe good is possible, you become less willing to stay in what harms you. You begin to feel that peace is not too much to ask for. Respect is not too much to ask for. Care is not too much to ask for. Rest is not too much to ask for. You stop settling so quickly for what repeats old pain. You begin to choose more in line with the better life you now believe can exist. Possibility changes standards. Love changes standards. Healing changes standards. And what a beautiful thing it is to let yourself live with that openness, to let yourself expect kindness, to let yourself believe that healing can continue, to let yourself imagine a future with more peace than the past has known. This is not weakness, it is courage. It takes courage to remain open after life has been hard. It takes courage to choose loving thoughts when old fear still speaks. It takes courage to say, I still believe good can find me. That courage is sacred. It is the doorway to a softer life. The mind becomes gentler when it is no longer taught that pain is the only truth. The heart becomes lighter when it is no longer forced to expect loss in every beautiful thing. The body becomes calmer when it is no longer told that the future must be feared. This is what happens when you live as if good is possible. You stop carrying tomorrow like a threat. You begin to carry it like an open field. Something can grow there. Something beautiful can arrive there. Something new can begin there. And the more you practice this way of living, the more natural it becomes. Hope no longer feels like a stranger. Peace no longer feels like something meant only for other people. You begin to feel that goodness is not distant, it is near. It is available in moments, choices, breaths, words, and ways of seeing. It is available in the loving thoughts you choose each day. It is available in the trust you practice before full proof appears. It is available in the life you are shaping gently from within. So let yourself live this way. Let yourself say yes to possibility. Let yourself stop speaking as if struggle is the only future. Let yourself become someone who notices the good, welcomes the good, and prepares inwardly for the good. A better life is not built only through effort. It is also built through the willingness to believe that love, healing, peace, and support are truly possible for you. The moment you begin living as if that is true, the whole tone of life begins to shift. Everything begins in this moment, not in some faraway future, not only when conditions are perfect, not only when every fear is gone. It begins here, in the thought you choose now, in the tone you use with yourself now, in the way you breathe, soften, and return now. The life you are shaping is not being formed only by big decisions. It is being formed by moments like this one. And in this moment, you can choose love. You can choose not to keep speaking to yourself in the same old, painful way. You can choose not to let fear be the loudest voice in your mind. You can choose not to repeat the thoughts that make your body tight and your heart tired. You can choose a better inner direction, a softer thought, a kinder word, a more peaceful response. It may seem small, but this is how change truly begins. It begins with one moment of willingness, one moment of saying, I do not want to keep living against myself. I want to live with more love. Choosing love in this moment does not mean you suddenly have all the answers. It does not mean your whole path is visible. It does not mean every wound is healed at once. It simply means you decide that the next thought matters, the next breath matters, the next word you speak inwardly matters. You decide that the mind can learn a kinder way. You decide that your inner world deserves peace. You decide that your future does not have to be shaped only by old pain. This is a holy kind of turning, quiet but powerful. So if the mind has been repeating fear, this is your moment to begin repeating peace. If the heart has been carrying harshness, this is your moment to begin carrying tenderness. The body has been living in pressure. This is your moment to begin offering safety. Love is not always loud. Sometimes love sounds like I am safe right now. Sometimes it sounds like I release the need to attack myself. Sometimes it sounds like life can still be good to me. Sometimes it sounds like I choose loving thoughts now. The beautiful thing is that you do not need to be perfect at this in order for it to change you. You only need to return. Again and again, return. Return to love when fear rises. Return to peace when the day becomes heavy. Return to patience when you feel behind. Return to trust when the future feels unclear. Every return matters. Every return weakens the old pattern. Every return teaches the mind a new path. And with time, that new path becomes more natural than the old one. You are not powerless in your own inner life. You may not control every event, but you can choose what you keep practicing within yourself. You can choose whether your thoughts continue to harden the old pain or begin to soften it. You can choose whether your mind remains a place of pressure or becomes a place of healing. You can choose whether your future is entered with constant dread or with a quiet readiness for good. These choices matter. They shape the whole spirit in which you live. Let yourself feel the gentleness of that truth. You do not need to force your life open. You do not need to struggle with your own soul. You do not need to become someone else before you are worthy of peace. You only need to begin where you are, right here, right now, with this breath, with this thought, with this simple decision to move in the direction of love. The universe can meet you there. Life can meet you there. Healing can meet you there. But first, you meet yourself there. So place your attention softly on your heart for a moment. Breathe slowly. Let the body know it can soften. Let the mind know it is not alone. Let the deeper part of you hear these words clearly. I choose loving thoughts. I choose peace. I choose to build my life from love instead of fear. Let those words settle gently. Let them become more than sound. Let them become a way of being. Let them become the atmosphere you carry into tomorrow. A better life is not created only by what happens to you. It is also created by the thoughts you agree to live inside, thought by thought, breath by breath, moment by moment. You are shaping the world within you, and the world within you shapes the world you are able to receive. That is why this choice matters so much. Choose the thoughts that heal. Choose the thoughts that soften. Choose the thoughts that leave room for grace. Choose the thoughts that sound like love. And if you forget, begin again. If fear returns, begin again. If an old pattern rises, begin again. Nothing is lost by beginning again. In fact, that is how the path is made. One lovin', return at a time. One gentle correction at a time. One quiet act of trust at a time. You are allowed to grow this way. You are allowed to change this way. You are allowed to become a softer place for your own soul to live. The mind is always shaping something. It is shaping the way you feel, the way you see, the way you expect, the way you receive, and the way you move through your days. That is why loving thoughts matter so deeply. They are not small. They are not weak. They are seeds. They are signals. They are the beginning of a better inner world, and from that inner world, a better life. When you choose loving thoughts, you calm the body, soften the heart, clear the mind, and open the way for peace, healing, and quiet goodness to enter more fully. You do not need to change everything in one day. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You only need to begin choosing differently, one thought at a time, a gentler sentence, a kinder response, a softer belief, a more peaceful inner tone. This is how the path changes. This is how the mind learns. This is how fear loosens. This is how love becomes more natural. The life you are building begins here, in the invisible places, in the thoughts you repeat, in the energy you carry, in the truth you are willing to live by. So let this be your practice. Speak to yourself with care. Use simple affirmations that guide your mind toward peace. Notice when old fear tries to take over and gently choose again. Live as if good is possible. Let hope be allowed. Let calm be welcome. Let love become the voice you return to most often. Thought by thought, day by day, your inner world can become lighter, wiser, and more open. And as it does, the life around you will begin to reflect that quiet transformation. Choose love in this moment, then choose it again in the next one. That is how a better life is created.